Hey everybody, it's Jeremy, and welcome to a new episode of Sipping with Jeremy. And today we're going to try 3 different whiskeys that we carry at the store. And it's funny enough, last time I did an episode where we just tried 3 whiskeys, we had 2 of these distilleries featured. So on today's episode, we are going to be trying from Drift Distillery, Folds of Honor Bourbon, from Green River Distillery, their Wheated Bourbon, and from the Willett Distillery, their Rye Whiskey. Let's go ahead and get started with the Folds of Honor from Drift Distillery. So we have talked about Drift Distillery before on an episode of Sipping with Jeremy. I'll make sure to put that link below so you can check that out too. But just as a recap, it is siblings who own a distillery in San Clemente. Their family owns a farm in Kansas where they grow their wheat, which is used for their wheated whiskey, which is what we tried on that episode of Sipping with Jeremy. This is a different product. This is a straight bourbon that is also made at San Clemente. This is made specifically for Fold of Arms, which is an organization that gives scholarships to spouses and children of military or first responders who have fallen or have become disabled. So something that Drift Distillery is passionate about. Part of the proceeds for this sales of this bourbon go to the Folds of Arms organization. And let's go ahead and give it a try. This overall is a really soft and easy drinking bourbon. And when I say soft, I don't mean that it doesn't have flavor to it. I just mean that everything's really elegantly layered and really well balanced on the palate. So first off, you get this really nice honey kind of coating on the mouthfeel. There's a little bit of a stone fruit characteristic as well as an apple note too. And then you get some softer brown sugar, a little bit of cocoa there too. And I'd say just like a touch, just like a little dash of vanilla. So just a really well developed whiskey. Again, starts off a little softer and then it gets a little bit richer on the finish. But just really well balanced, really well layered, and just a lot going on there. This is definitely a really nice sipping kind of style of whiskey. Now let's move on to the Green River Wheated Bourbon. Green River Distillery was originally founded in 1885, making it Kentucky's 10th oldest distillery in history. Like a lot of distilleries that are open before Prohibition, they kind of got screwed during it. They had to close down after the same people didn't own it. It got bought and sold multiple times, and unfortunately was discontinued in 1956. But in 2016, the distillery out of Owensboro, Kentucky came back again and is thriving. They make 3 expressions. Today we are trying the Wheated Bourbon. And for those of you who don't know, Wheated Bourbon just means that it is a higher percentage of wheat in the mash bill. So this one is 70% corn, 21% wheat, and 9% malted barley. And what that wheat does is really just add a richness and body to a bourbon that you don't get when you're using rye and a lot less malted barley. So let's go ahead and give this a try. So this is the second whiskey in this lineup that I would describe as soft. And really, this is just super easy drinking. Up front, you get a really vibrant baked apple, baked pear kind of characteristics. There's a little bit of a tea spice note there as well. You get some softer kind of like dried cocoa notes there too. So there is a little bit of richness, but just this really rounded kind of softness to this whiskey, this bourbon, that gives you this really just easy drinking appeal to it. I would say there's a little bit of a cola spice kind of characteristic as well. So you're getting a lot of the spice from the oak, which is funny because there is no rye in this. So usually the spice characteristic you're getting in a whiskey that gives you some vibrancy is more of the rye. But this, since it is a softer whiskey, since wheat seems to give itself a little bit more to that oak, you're getting a little bit more of the oak flavor characteristic. This gives you some really nice vibrancy to balance out some of the softer flavors in this too. So just a really well-rounded whiskey, and yeah, just really enjoyable. 10th oldest distillery too, so some really cool history behind it. It's glad to see Green River is back and doing some cool stuff. Now on to the Willett Distillery Rye Whiskey. Willett Distillery is another distillery that we've talked about in a previous episode. Again, put the link below, same as the one for the Drift Wheated Whiskey. Just a quick recap. So this was originally founded by Thompson Willett in 1936. The Colvesveen family bought it in 1984. And the Willett Rye is probably one of the more well-known SKUs from the Willett Distillery. And this is a 4-year-old rye whiskey that sits at 113 proof. And let's go ahead and give it a try. This is a very layered and developed rye whiskey. Up front, I get a lot of butterscotch and marzipan. Then I get some more tea leaf kind of spice notes. That leads to more rye spice. That leads to the oak spice. Then you get some toasted vanilla. You get some softer kind of apple fruit too. So there's just a lot going on in this whiskey. It's definitely one that you can sip on and enjoy for a while and see how it, changes while you're drinking it. Definitely add a little bit of, ice to this, or, add a couple drops of water after you've had a couple taste of it to just see what that difference does as well. But I definitely think this is one that as you dilute it, you'll get a little bit more of those richer kind of flavors to this. All right, everybody, that's going to wrap up this episode of Sipping with Jeremy. Thank you so much for joining us. Hope you learned a little something today. Hope you enjoyed the video overall. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to the video. Don't forget to leave me a comment too. If there's anything you want to see, let me know. If there's anything that you think about these videos, let me know. I'd love to hear from y'all too. And we will have links below for our website as well as the products that we have today. I will also send a link for the other Sipping with Jeremy, which featured both the Drift and Willet Distillery before. But again, y'all, thank you for joining us. I really do appreciate it. Have a great day, and don't forget to drink well.